Okay, so hey guys, welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview, and I'm here with Tobie Vermeire. Hopefully I pronounced that right. How are we, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself? And yeah, that's all pronounced all good, mate.
Yes, I'm all good, thank you, and first of all, thank you very much for agreeing to do this.
No, that's absolutely fine. It's a pleasure.
Indeed, and just for anybody that doesn't know, am I right in saying, boxing career-wise, you're a 31-year-old cruiserweight who's 0-1?
That's correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
brilliant, okay, and well, I'll start with the first question, which I always like to start off with. Why did you start boxing?
I had a bit of an unusual entry into boxing. I used to be 26 stone. I was very, very overweight and unfit, and not in a physical condition to even consider stepping in the ring. I set myself a goal within 3 years that I'd become a professional boxer from sort of only having like a couple of charity bouts
Mm-hmm.
to being on the big stage. So I chose boxing as a way to benefit my life and change my life, both physically, mentally. Then also as well, the goal of becoming a professional boxer is pretty cool, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
quite a good flex to say you're a pro boxer.
yeah.
So why not? And yeah, it's an achievement in life, really. So why not give it a go?
Mhm. Most definitely. No, your story is it's incredible, mate. It's something which I'm a big fan of, and just I mean, for the fact of you kind of chose boxing, you had that route to go down to lose that weight in the first place. How important was it to find something which you did enjoy to then go on to lose that weight with?
I think a lot of it as well with boxing, as well as the enjoyment, is also the accountability.
Mm.
If you go into boxing and you're not fit and you're not healthy and you're not in the best shape you can be, it's a pretty dangerous sport, really. So the fear of boxing and the fear of being in a fight as such, it makes you work hard. It makes you determined. It makes you dedicated. So it's a good sport to choose because you can't hide and you can't get away with being lazy in camp and stuff, because you get found out in the ring very quickly, as well as I'm sure anyone that's uh, been a bit lazy and then gone into like sparring or a fight have realised it makes it a lot harder than it should be if you're not training and committed properly.
Mm. Yeah, of course. And for anybody who is out there who maybe is in a similar position to what you were once in, what would you say for yourself was the kind of hardest point of your weight loss journey? Would you say it was maybe the starting few steps, or would you say that it was maybe just being able to continue to do it in even the tough patches, even the days where you don't really want to do it?
I think the biggest thing to do is finding a goal which gets you out of bed and
Mm.
keeps you driven. The weight loss and sort of the change in my food habits and beating my addiction to food was almost like a factor in me achieving my goal. I had to do that to achieve my goal. My focus wasn't necessarily on that initially. It was all about becoming a professional boxer. That was the thing that really kept me going. Don't get me wrong, the first 30 days is difficult.
Yeah.
Especially considering the bad habits I had, and I was getting ill from withdrawal from sugars and ultra processed foods and stuff, and it really was difficult to come away from that, as well as breaking habits of a lifetime. But trying to learn new habits and healthy habits was quite difficult. The mental side of it's difficult. Obviously, the physical and the boxing side is probably the fun part, I'd say.
Yeah.
The diet and the mental side and changing my habits and not change that I've had for my whole life. That was the hard bit. But I'd say anyone that's looking to go down a similar route of myself is about that initial goal, and don't fall into any fad diets. Don't go online and sign up to some fit in 60 days
Mm.
extra mega transformation rubbish, because there's only one thing that is good for, and that's for your money. They're
Mm.
taking your money away from you, and that's why the stuff that I use and which worked for me, I pretty much give it away
Mm.
online, just because like if I get as big a pleasure as being in the ring and fighting. I get massive pleasure from hearing people's stories, how they were inspired by what I've done, or they want to try boxing, and they've taken sort of the what I've done and how I've done it and used it themselves, and it's worked for them. To me, that's a massive win, and I didn't plan on that being my journey, but that's what keeps me motivated is seeing that the impact and the positivity what my journey's brought to other people as well. I absolutely love it. It does put a smile on my face when I hear good news stories come through from people replicating what I've done.
Yeah, most definitely. It has been incredible, and it's amazing to see you kind of spreading your words of wisdom as a person who has experience from it. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone through a little bit of a one myself, maybe nowhere near at your level, but like to see somebody like yourself who has gone through all that you've been through, I have a lot of respect for that. And just for kind of your mental health wise, what would you say improvement wise have been made to that aspect?
Mental health wise, I've got a focus and a drive. So for a lot of my adult life, my focus has been on sort of making money and having the nice car and stuff like that, and looking flashy, having the designer clothes and looking flashy in front of my mates. And I completely disregarded sort of my own mental health and my own well-being and sort of my own physical health as well. And as soon as I took a bit of a focus on the physical and mental health, my life just become a lot better. That was really important for me, and that's what's led me to the success that I'm in now. The money and stuff is a quick fix, so you can hear my little daughter crying in the background probably. Yeah, it's massively benefited my mental health. I've got something to focus on. I've got a goal that I focus on that's away from work, that's away from everything else, and when things are going bad in other places, for example, if the boxing's going bad or I'm injured, I put my focus onto my work, I put all my family, and it all goes around in circles. Just having a few things to focus on at the same time, just so it went. Because don't get me wrong, boxing isn't an easy sport, and things do go wrong. Things do go bad, and having a support network and other things to take your mind off stuff as well is important. Like I like riding motorbikes, so they were probably my saving grace in the amateurs, because when I lost an amateur or amateur bout, or I got a rough decision, I'd go for a blast on the bike the next day and I kind of forget about it. So yeah, having those because if everyone suffers with their mental health, and I've been affected quite badly from it from family and friends. My dad unfortunately passed away when I was 15. He had his own battles with his mental health, and unfortunately he lost that battle. Likewise, one of my best friends in my early 20s. So I focus a lot now on making sure that I'm sound of mind and happy, because I've seen firsthand that it's affected me firsthand. The struggles that people have and the impact it has on others around them. I like my fight on Saturday. I had my dad massively in my mind, thinking about it. My ring walk song was a song which reminds me of him, because it was one of his favourite songs. I remember dancing around when I was a kid to it and stuff. So yeah, it all has those effects. And I'm although I'm quite joking, laughing online and stuff like that, I'm a bit of a softie really. So
No, of course, and I'm sorry to hear what you've been through, mate, and it's credit to you to be able to come out the other side like you have and do so well for yourself. And I mean, you've seen lots of athletes as of recent speak about kind of mental health and how important that is, and how important is it, the kind of maybe more cliche thing to say now, to make sure that you do speak out if needed.
Yeah, absolutely, I completely agree. And do you know what, especially in this day and age when athletes have to have an online presence and be out there, especially boxing. Now, the amount of abuse that boxers get online is absolutely terrible. I used to get a lot. When I was coming through the amateurs and I was saying what I was going to do, and I've got a reasonable social media fund. I used to get hounded with abuse, somehow stopped now a little bit, but like I see it from sort of my my counterparts where they lose a bout, they get pounded with comments saying you're crap, you're useless, you're the worst boxer in the world and stuff, and it's horrible to hear and horrible to see. And these guys dedicate their lives to it. Like you go into the ring, and yeah, it sounds terrible. You could die in the ring quite easily. You're getting hit, especially in the bigger weights, the cruiserweight and heavyweights. You get it wrong by a 17, 18 stone bloke. It's not very pretty.
Yeah.
But yet you're getting, you get a few armchair pundits who almost laugh at the sacrifices these boys make, and it's quite sad, really.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And how important is it for you to just make sure that you aren't getting too affected by that? And I mean, you say now the comments have kind of gone down in your aspect, but how nice is it to be able to maybe keep your head away from that kind of area?
I tend to I take it quite lightly, really. People give me abuse online and stuff, because it's quite funny. I'm quite comfortable with my own achievements, my own goals, and what I've done. And normally it's down to their own mental health. If someone starts abusing me online or sort of harassing, normally I'm more concerned about them than I am myself, because there's probably an element of self-doubt in themselves, or they haven't achieved something, or so I tend to just I don't fire them. I just tend to pity them a little bit, really. And normally when they realise I'm a normal person, they kind of apologise, and it's all done with then. But yeah, you get that in all walks of life, I'd say. And boxing is because we have to be out there, we have to promote ourselves. Every professional boxer is a business. You're there for scrutiny, and people think that you owe them something. But again, as I said, I could take it quite well. I know some lads struggle with it and tend to kind of ignore social media because of it, but I don't mind it as much.
No, indeed. Well, we'll kind of move towards maybe more boxing related and actual yourself talk now. I got a little bit deep there. Appreciate that. And so I mean, you had your debut. Didn't quite get the win, but what did you make of your performance in that fight?
Nerves got to me, in all honesty. Ryan really used his experience. He's a decorated amateur. Obviously, in the pros, I was probably one of the smallest lads he's been in with, and the only debutant, and he used his experience pretty well to kind of nullify my movement and stuff and skill, and wrap me up well. I learned a lot from the fight, to say the least, which is the bonus for me. I am a raw novice, and I'm a raw novice. So these fights, as much as I'm out there to perform, I'm out there to learn at the same time. I'm pretty much there with a notepad in my hand, taking notes of everything and learning as I go along. Performance-wise, I wasn't too happy, but like if I'd gone in there and I had stopped him early or whatever like that, then these problems which have come up in this fight, and these things I needed to learn from this fight, they may have came out in a more important fight. Definitely. They may have came up when I'm looking to eliminate her for a Midlands title or something, and to learn these lessons early on is a big benefit. And I thank Ryan for that, because he's shown some real chinks in my armour which I need to patch up.
Yeah, most definitely. It's every loss, every draw, you learn from. Every fight you learn from. And so for the whole kind of experience as a whole, you were working with Nielsen Boxing, you were on one of their cards. What was it like on one of their cards?
It's class, mate, in all honesty. The value for my fans and supporters was brilliant. They they all really enjoyed the night. The production and stuff is really good as well. yeah, I've been to a few Nielsen shows and I've never been disappointed. And it was nice as well that I got the celebration of me making my pro debut, as well as the atmosphere for my crowd that I wanted. So yeah, no, I can't be more thankful for the welcome that I got and the show that was put on. Yeah, it was a real special day.
Indeed, and I know with fighters, when they don't necessarily get the result that they want, they're eager to go back in and kind of amend it and then be able to get a victory. And so I'm sure you're going to be wanting to get back in the ring soon. Are you possibly got a time where you might be looking to?
I'll be out in the end of January now.
Okay.
I had a newborn literally at the start of camp,
Congratulations.
so I haven't really spent any time with her. Like an hour or two in the morning before I go to work. You know, I work full time and box, so I'm leaving the house at sort of 8:30 in the morning after spending some time with her, and then I'm not getting in till probably 10:30 at night after boxing and stuff. So going to spend some time with her, spend some time with the missus. I've got a few little niggles from camp that I need to fix up before I'm ready to go again. So I'm going to rest up well, and I want to be out end of January, fighting fit, ready to go again.
Brilliant. Well, of course, congratulations for the child, man. It's I mean, I've not personally experienced it, but I'm sure it's a great achievement. And how is that? Not just, I mean, you've been through your whole kind of journey so far, but in the way of motivation, current motivation, how much is she a motivation for you?
So I fought for my life to get to where I am now. So I worked to get a life back, really, to become a professional boxer. Obviously, that was the thing. But I've got my life back with this journey. Now I'm a professional. I'm fighting now for her to give her a better life. So anything I achieve in boxing, monetary wise, will benefit her.
Definitely.
So for me now, there's that drive that I want to give her everything I can. My boxing career isn't going to be a long-winded one, but it's going to be long enough for me to enjoy it. By the time she's 5-6 years old, I'll be probably taking her down the boxing gym rather than myself. So yeah, as well as me obviously enjoying it, I just want to make sure that it's rewarding for her as well. Come the time, you know, she might win a horse when she's 10. You never know. Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't. Hopefully she wants a pair of boxing gloves, but we'll see.
Most definitely. And I mean, you've kind of answered the question there, but of course your kind of main achievement when you were in your bad point was to be a professional boxer. Now you've reached that point. Do you have many kind of boxing aspirations, or is it just kind of taking each day, each fight as it comes?
I would like to win a Midlands title. An area title would be great. Something for the mantelpiece. Something visual I can look at and be proud of. That would be amazing. Obviously I work full time as well, so boxing is, you know, as much as I do invest a lot of time into boxing, I haven't got the financial backing and the support of a lot of these full-time fighters. So, you know, and also as well, I'm a lot older than them. I've only boxed for 3 years, really. So I'm very late to it. So I've got to be a little bit realistic with my aspirations. But also I need to learn a lot as well. So hopefully by the end of next year, I'll be a lot more finely tuned. The nerves will be out of me as well from boxing, and I'll be a real contender in the cruiserweight division, and obviously bringing my story along, and you know, hopefully being a fan favourite as well. Not necessarily for the wins and for being, you know, being a prospect that's going to win titles, but just for being a normal person that someone can reflect through, you know, represent sort of a normal person, someone that's struggled with their weight, and just be that guy, the everyday person that's just going to have bug it, let's put some gloves on and have a laugh, sort of thing. So
yeah, you see you've seen in the past there's been plenty of fighters. I mean, you can even think realistically to somebody like Ricky Hatton, who's gone on to do great things, but when you kind of think of it, he didn't really have the maybe massive backing, and he was just kind of like a people's kind of champion in a way. And is that kind of
Yeah,
where your kind of aspiration is?
yeah, in essence, yeah. You know, if as long as I can entertain the crowds,
Mm.
that's the thing. Like when I was in the amateurs, the the fights I had in the amateurs were all entertaining. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they were proper wars, and I put on good performances, and that's the people tend to forget that the boxing is an entertainment sport,
Mm-hmm.
and people pay money to be entertained. So if I can have those entertaining fights, those 50-50s if they come as well, and that, and give people value for money as well as enjoying myself, that's what I want from boxing. You know, as well as when people hear I'm fighting or when I'm having a fight, they're excited for it. They're not
Mm-hmm.
just going, "Oh, here he is again. He's going to bowl over someone, and it's going to be boring, and he's just going to have another notch on his record." Don't get me wrong, I want to win,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to, I want to entertain as well at the same
Yeah.
time. I haven't got 5 years of boxing to be bowling over people for fun. I've got 5 years where I want to make some money, enjoy myself, have some great times, and make some memories.
Mm. Yeah, and I'm sure you will, man. And I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Is there anything that you'd like to shout out?
So I'd like to say a few things. Obviously, mental health is quite big for me. I'm actually doing a 6 week course in my hometown in Lantern, Wales,
Mm-hmm.
for Mind UK. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I just want to shout out my sponsor, MRC, who are hosting that for us,
Mm-hmm.
as well as my other sponsors, CDF Financial, Flawless Flooring, Sunkissed Studio in Bromyard, because well, I like a sunbed every
Mm-hmm.
now and then.
Yep.
I don't think anyone that doesn't really. And then taking care of boilers as well. But also my lovely lady, my family, my coaches, everyone that supported me, and lastly, everyone that bought a ticket to my last fight. Um, Thank you, and thank you for making it a special occasion for me as well.
Brilliant, mate. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. I'm going to be keeping my eyes very much on the rest of your career, and maybe a little bit further along down the line, if you're up for it, we can have another catch up.
Absolutely fine. Pleasure. Take
Brilliant.
care.
Take care, man. Thank you very much.